Hey fuckers, Leatherneck here, playing Player Unknown's Battleground. Today, I'm going to talk about something that I never really tell people, but I went out to eat with one of my friends that was active duty Army infantry, and I told him the reason why I had to join the Marine Corps Reserves, and he suggested that I should do a video about it. So here I am, doing a video about it. Alright, so we're gonna get started right now. As most of you know, I grew up in a Taiwanese/Chinese family. I am a first generation American. Asian American, and it was tough for my parents to come to America and make it out here, as with a lot of foreigners. My parents are the only members in their family that live in America, so there's no one to help them besides themselves. So you can imagine it was difficult to figure things out when they first got here. Then they had me and my sister, and I became the only son in the family. One day I thought about joining the military, not sure which branch at the time, and I know one of you guys asked me what made me want to join the Marine Corps, but that's a video for another time, and I'll make a video about it next time. But going back to what I was saying, I knew that my parents would freak out if I ever brought it up, and the reason for that is because my grandparents lived through World War II and the Chinese War. My grandparents all know how to speak Japanese, and I'm not even Japanese. And that was because they were occupied by Japan and saw rape, torture, and executions. And my grandfather, which is dead now from natural causes, was captured by their government because they thought he was a communist from China. And my grand-aunt's husband went to war with the Chinese and never came back. So for the longest time, my family was really against military and war because of what my grandparents went through, and it rubbed off on them. I was doing good in school, but I just felt like, life was purposeless and that I'm just here wasting my life away because it was just so plain and boring, almost meaningless, to be honest. That's why coming back here was so hard. Being on active orders was the first time in my life where I got somewhere. But I decided to tell my parents about it during my junior year in high school, but I first offered them the officer route, which is Navy ROTC, and I even applied for the scholarship and all, but never got it. The only way to communicate with my parents at the time was that I had to mention my education. What is it going to, or how is it going to benefit my education? That's why I brought up the officer route, because you need a college degree for it. They were freaking out at the fact already that I even thought about the military, but then I honestly just wanted to get out of my house because my family situation at the time was pretty shitty for me and my parents. My sister was 8 hours away from us, so she was never in the picture. My family's just started to fall apart. Everybody had some sort of resentment towards each other. It was to the point where we didn't mind going our separate ways. This is when I revealed to my parents that I didn't want to go the officer route and not go to college yet, and go straight enlisted active duty, do my time, and come back. Now all of a sudden they didn't want to go their separate ways anymore, so we argued for months and months about the situation that eventually led up to a year of them trying to convince me not to go when I turned 18. My parents refused to sign for me when I was 17, even after I graduated high school, because they said if anything happened to me, they didn't want to feel responsible for it. But I'm just like, nah, it's my choice, and you guys just signed a piece of paper and that's it. They still refused, so I told them, well, when I hit 18, I know what my birthday present for myself is going to be, and it's going to sign that piece of paper. Alright? And then a couple months went by. I already turned 17 for a while already. My mom hears about the reserves, and I'm like shit. But my parents still didn't want me to go. For the next couple of months after that, it was hell, because our relationship was slowly dying from all these arguments and verbal abuse back and forth. I wanted to get out of these situations because I was sick of Asian helicopter parents and just doing what everybody was doing, and everything was provided, yet people are still ungrateful. Quick story, guys. 2 weeks ago, this guy killed himself from where I lived, and he literally was dying in my arms, and 2 days later he died. I was the one that called 911. I was the one on the scene, and he jumped out of his car because he was mad at his mother or something and wanted to prove a point to her. You know what hurt me the most is seeing the mom begging me to help her, but I already did what I could. It hurt me to see her cry, and I was mad at the kid for putting his mother through this kind of pain. I was thinking to myself, like, you have it so good here. Why were you so weak to the point that you'll kill yourself because you couldn't handle a simple situation between you and your mother? I understand how frustrating it is when, you know, your parents are always on your ass and will never give you a break because they're scared for your future. They do it out of care, but honestly, it could be too much at times. Now, a lot of people say, you know, you're putting your parents in the same kind of pain, but I'm not, because it's not like I'm killing myself or anything like that. I'm doing something that's honorable in most people's eyes. So, you know, fuck you guys. But anyways, after all that shit, you know, going back to my original story, I finally gave them an ultimatum and told them that, hey, whether you like it or not, I'm going active when I'm 18. But remember, my mom heard about that reserve shit, remember? Well, she asked if I can compromise and go reserves if she signs the contract for me. That way I can ship early and come back so I can help them out since they're the only ones in America. And you know, I'm not a selfish person, so I said fine, I will. I had to swallow my wants and pride and pull through, especially after all these arguments and struggles. I finally got somewhere, so I was pretty relieved. So they signed the paper when I was 17, and all of a sudden they regret the day they signed it, and I'm just like, what the fuck? So my parents went ape shit and tried to hire lawyers and sue my recruiter and stirred up a whole hornet's nest. You know, it was bad to the point where my dad was trying to get me charged with domestic violence and shit, so I have a bad record, so I can't join. Now I'm gonna confess something to you guys right now. During this period when my dad was trying to call the police on me, I physically fought my father for the phone, and I broke it on the spot. And I took a golf club and started breaking shit everywhere. I physically fought him. I'm not proud of it or anything, but these guys can paint the picture in your mind. You know, everything felt like it was going downhill, and my dad passed out because he has heart issues where it skips beats and stuff like that, and if it pumps too fast, it could stop for a while. And that's what happened. He passed out. Unfortunately, he woke back up, but during this period of time where he was passed out, I literally thought my future was done. And my mom, you know, has seen enough and had enough. She was just standing there shocked by us physically fighting, and she finally got her thoughts together and basically said enough. No more, and that's it. Just let him, which is me, go. He's not going to give this up. And that's how I ended up in the reserves. And I honestly couldn't make a better decision because I get to help my parents out like I promised, and I get to see both sides of active duty life and the reserves. My parents are no longer trying to control what I do anymore because I showed them that I was able to go out there and do things myself. And to show them that, you know, the Marines have made me a lot tougher than how I was before. You know, took a lot of the bitch out of me, to be honest. Especially coming from the area that I was from. It was very domesticated. And all of a sudden, a week later after high school, I get sent off to boot camp. You know, doing all that training and getting screamed at and learning how to shoot a rifle and shit. Took my old self and turned me into something else, which I'm really happy that has happened to me, you know. My relationship with them, especially my mother, has grown so much stronger, and honestly, me being away for training has healed many wounds, and, you know, I feel like it was part of God's plan. I don't know if you guys are religious or not, but that's how I feel. And I'm also grateful that I have so many friends in the veterans office at school that were prior active and are combat veterans. You know, they get to let me see a lot of different viewpoints. You know, being in the reserves opened up my eyes to different viewpoints. Yeah, I missed the crap out of my active orders days, but I think it was for the best that I went into the reserves. You know, it's tough balancing everything out, like school, work, reserve Marine work. You know, I gotta do other errands for the Marines and all that good stuff. But, you know, you just gotta do it. You know, this is the reason why I take so much pride in being a reservist Marine. It's hard to balance everything out, and at the same time, I went through all that just to be a reservist. Just to be a reservist, guys. And I'm the first U.S. military in my family, and I was the youngest Marine 2 years in a row at the Marine Corps Ball. So I guess I feel pretty accomplished. First U.S. military, and graduate boot camp at 17 also. And, you know, great physical fitness test scores, great combat fitness test scores and range scores, and I'm pretty good at my job. Of course, I stumble at times, but hey, I bring myself back up. You know, it's determination that will pull you through the hardest times. You know, that goes for relationships, romantic relationships, and all that, and your job, the struggles in life. If you're willing to push through, you will push through. And that's what Marines are known for. And that's just the mentality that I grew up with. Anyways, if you guys like the video, thumbs up. If you guys didn't, thumbs down. I don't give a fuck. Stay sharp, be safe, and remember, the plane is killed. Thanks for watching. Oorah.